All right, everybody. First Kanye, then Elon, then Trump. Probably Trump first, if I'm being honest. And now, it's happening to Steven Crowder. The unthinkable. The worst, but also most common thing that can happen to a conservative man. Something that the right absolutely despises that women have the power to do. And that thing is the big D. Divorce. Also, I want to point out very quickly, is that... Correct me if I'm wrong. Is that a Makarov? The video is very, blurry, and I can't... His hand's not next to it for scale, but... Is that a Russian pistol on Steven Crowder's desk? Am I wrong? I can't tell from here. It's a Walter. Oh, yeah, it is a Walter. You're right. You can kind of tell by the hammer there. There's a little... Yeah, you can see the little hole in it. You're right. Yep, my bad. Bad eyesight. Thank you, gun experts in chat. I appreciate you. You guys are based. I love gun experts in my chat. It means that, like, when I'm thinking about buying my guns, I know exactly where to go. I can just ask my chat for advice and have decently reliable advice. Decently reliable. I love having gun experts in chat. Anyway, Steven Crowder posted a little bit of an announcement. He is getting divorced. Here's the caption of this tweet. Steven Crowder drops the news on Rumble Video that he is going through a divorce, basically accuses Candace Owens of extortion, and hints he might take legal action if needed for anyone discussing his divorce in a way he deems too far. Bro, free speech Crowder coming out to sue people making fun of his divorce. Let's hope he doesn't hit me. These are literally just slap suits meant to, like, shut down people making fun of the fact he's getting divorced. Remember, these people really hate it when you make fun of that fact. Oh boy. All right, so let's watch the video really quick. It's 5 minutes long. It's a little bit lengthy, but it's worth watching, I think.
I have been living with a proverbial boot on my neck for going on years now. Since 2021, I've been living through what has increasingly been a horrendous divorce. Now, let me say on the outset, to be clear,
this makes me
there's
happy.
no infidelity, any kind of physical abuse at all.
I want to be very clear here. The suffering of conservatives is my joy, okay? Nothing brings me more joy than seeing that a conservative is suffering, okay? These people gain nothing but joy from your suffering. I gain nothing but joy from theirs. I have learned to hate. Being a lefty streamer and, like, dealing with conservative propaganda all day has taught me how to hate. On a very deep level. It's taught me how to hate.
All on either side, and no, this was not my choice. My then wife decided that she didn't want to be married anymore. And in the state of Texas, that is complete.
One of the things that I like to DM to random conservative pundits on Twitter to see if they'll see it or respond is simply, "Your misery is my joy." That's literally all I say. When I can't think of anything meaner to say, I just simply say, "Your misery is my joy."
Completely permitted. It's been the most heartbreaking experience of my life, what I consider to be my deepest personal failure. And just so you know, my opinions on parenting and families have not changed. I've always believed that children need a mom and a dad, that divorce is horrible. And I still believe that children need a mom and a dad and that divorce is horrible.
Remember, guys, the right doesn't believe that women should have the legal right to divorce. They're all for marriage, and especially marriage young. That's why they're so in favor of no sex until marriage, because teenagers, in an attempt to just have sex because they're so horny, will get married young, usually in high school. That makes it even less likely that a divorce is even going to happen in the first place. It's also more rife for abuse and indoctrination because the woman never gets the opportunity to live her own life and become her own person or have independence or even taste independence. And so it's basically like they're trying to legally enforce the inability for women. They no longer are fine culturally enforcing the idea that women shouldn't be able to get divorced or have freedom. They now are fighting to try to legally ensure that women do not have that right. Because when women have freedom and agency, well, it makes right-wingers mad. I really don't know what else to say. It upsets the right. Like, they hate women. They despise them. They see them as nothing but, like, sex objects and maids.
But in today's legal system,
like, no, conservatives do despise women. Like, as much as they think they're hot, they want to have sex with them, and even the ones who want to have, like, start a family and quote-unquote find a good woman, they still despise women as a category. They see women as, like, a inherently, categorically inferior group of people who think and behave inherently in a way that is inferior to men. They believe that women are biologically ingrained, or even in some cases, if they're less radical, socialized to be cruel and manipulative and to use men. When you listen to what conservatives, when they're more mask off, say about women, it becomes very clear they think that women are, like, biologically designed to hurt men, to take advantage of men, and to derive their gain from men like a parasite, and that it is men's responsibility to put their foot down and take their equal share from women. That is how these conservative men view women, on the most fundamental level.
my beliefs don't matter. In Texas, divorce is permitted when one party wants it, period.
Well, he's just mad that his wife's allowed to divorce him even though he doesn't want to get divorced. He is against women having the right to get divorced. Oddly specific. When you've watched enough conservative propaganda, it becomes very obvious what they actually believe. It's true, Zan. My pussy fires biological laser beams. Damn, that's awesome.
So for well over a year, in the best interest as well as physical safety of my children, we've decided to keep this issue private and to resolve it privately with the appropriate attorneys, what have you, legal jargon. And all this, one thing I want to be really clear about is certain. True north here is that my children are blameless, completely without fault.
Well,
and so we decided to resolve.
That's almost certainly true, considering the children are toddlers.
All these issues.
Like, in the video we're about to watch, the wife is pregnant, so I feel like the children can't really be that old.
Privately.
Like, no shit, the children aren't the fault.
Both emotionally and physically, to do so. Now, the other issue is, and this is something that I've kept private for likely far too long, many other people knew about this behind the scenes. Some, not all, but some of them in positions of power, influence, leverage, knew.
You know what's funny about this? What he's about to describe is the idea that he was blackmailed and that his reputation and this, like, thing that would hurt his reputation was held over his head by powerful people who are above him, and that, like, put him through severe emotional distress. Guess what movement Steven Crowder has spoken out against constantly and without fail? Me Too, which is literally all about exposing powerful men, in particularly the industry of Hollywood, who are using their positions of power to, like, blackmail women into not coming forward about the sexual abuse and impropriety that they were being subjected to by said powerful men. And yet here you have Steven Crowder complaining about the exact same dynamic. Because remember, there's no consistency. It's just whatever hurts minorities the most is a political, like, priority of the right.
Of this. They also knew that the safety of my children included keeping it private. So if you're familiar with the idea of extortion, then you know the feeling well. Now, some of these threats were so thinly veiled that I'm frankly surprised you didn't all guess immediately.
Steven has a lot going on.
Hey, calling out Candace Owens. Oh, shit. The Candace Owens versus Steven Crowder fucking culture war battle is going to be epic. They're eating their own. God, I love it. I've been telling you guys. I've been telling you. I'm prophetic, okay? I'm not actually prophetic. I'm just good at reading the room, okay? I predicted this current age of right-wing demagoguery and culture control online coming about, okay? I predicted it over a year ago, like 2 years ago now, all right? And I got tons of shit when I said it was going to happen at the time because no one believed me. I have been now for a couple months or a few months now, ever since Elon Musk bought Twitter and things really started to go down, that the right has started to overextend itself, and we are now entering the right's dying off phase. We are now approaching the next age of left-wing cultural dominance online. And I think it's going to come around with the election. I think it's going to come around particularly the end of this year and 2024. I think it's going to be at its peak in the summer and the winter of 2024. That is my prediction. The right has been overextending. The culture has been shifting much more opposed to these figures. They have been showing their ass. They have been overextending their hand. I'm just seeing more normie culture war things defaulting against the right than against the left these days. And that's really where it starts. And these right-wing prominent figures eating their own and having horrible things happen in their lives, which is always inevitable. It was always inevitable. It always happens. I think their timers run out. Every era of right-wing culture dominance online is like a candle burning at two ends. Very, very bright, but burns out very, very quickly. Half as long, twice as bright.
I guess is the best way to say it. He has a lot going on, and that should be clear because people don't do stuff like this if there's not a lot going on in their lives. I would like to implore my audience and everybody
Damn, she is subtweeting Steven Crowder.
Not to condemn him, but to pray for him. Sometimes people need a prayer. Sometimes people need a scripture. You know, Steven purports to be a Christian. I am unsure at this moment if it is my place to say more than that. You know, maybe if I feel in further defense, some things should be said, or maybe if I feel that the public has a right to understand certain circumstances.
Well, my children have a right to privacy. Now, some other
is there a plane going over his studio?
Or I should say...
Hey, Steven Crowder, there's a little add-on called Crisp that you can get on Discord, and there's also NVIDIA Broadcast you can get for your computer, and it cuts out all the background noise. Your mouth is basically deep-throating the mic, so, like, there's literally no downside to turning on one of those filters. I can hear a plane going over your studio. You might want to take care of that, my dude.
Inferences have been more pernicious behind the scenes with demands and threats to use this information that they believe would be so publicly embarrassing to me and my wife at a difficult time that it could be used.
So he's only making this public, by the way, because like he had to, and it was going to be made public in a way that would be much less beneficial for him to like frame it in a certain way if he didn't get on top of it. So that's why he's made this video, for those that are wondering.
Knowingly putting my children in harm's way. So to those self-styled Christians, conservatives, and allies, well, not in my book. Now, if you find yourself, I don't want to get into details, so this is going to likely be the only time I have to address this or want to address this. If you're asking yourself, hey, did X person or did Y person know? The answer is likely yes, which will be made alarmingly clear as this process of discovery continues. And it also, by the way, makes me that much more appreciative of those who did know about this and in understanding the best interests of my family, my children, kept their word.
I didn't know, but I knew in the kind of way where you find out the news and it doesn't surprise you a slight bit. Like, you're not like, whoa, you're more like, huh, about time. Like, it's like, you know, in that kind of way where it's like not a hint of surprise when the information is given to you. It's more of a finally kind of thing, you know?
Word and use discretion. I can't thank you enough. Sincerely, I appreciate it. Won't forget it. It's pretty simple. I loved a...
What was leaked about Steven? Oh, I think we might have a Steven Crowder fan here. Well, the Ring doorbell, or not Ring doorbell video, the security camera footage of Steven Crowder and his wife is what leaked, and we'll be getting to that in just a moment. Just have a little bit of patience.
Woman so much that I married her.
Welcome to the stream.
A woman who, despite all of this, I still love as the mother of my children. And she wanted something else for her life. That's not my choice. She simply wanted out, and the law says that that's how it works. Now,
she wanted out, and the law says that's how it works. They are opposed to divorce and in favor of banning sex before marriage. Just imagine if these people get their way. Just on that one front, that one issue, if the right gets their way, how fucking miserable the lives of the average American will be. Sure, there'll be a lot of really shitty men that are happy about it, that divorce would be illegal for women to engage, but I imagine a lot more Americans would be in a much worse spot. He wants the law to say she should be trapped as a housewife. This is no different than the incels who call for, like, mandatory, like, state-mandated girlfriends or whatever.
Now, of course, look, I get it. There are multiple sides to every story, but one thing that is undeniable in this case is that it's no one's fault but my own in that I picked wrong, and that's...
It's my fault that I picked the wrong woman. We're gonna be taking a look at the video that leaked, and you'll get an idea of what he means by picked the wrong woman. He means he picked a woman that won't do exactly what he says when he says it, like a fucking slave. You're gonna see the video in just a minute.
certainly not the fault of my children. And I will say...
He's doing the classic, like, right-wingers bringing up children as a defense. Like, he's trying to think of the children as an argument for why his wife shouldn't be allowed to divorce him. Like, there is literally no ends to which the right will weaponize children, which they literally don't even regard as human beings, as a way to, like, push their propaganda. It really is disgusting. Like, genuinely pure evil.
That what's in the best interest of my children is not internet drama, speculation, certainly not blatant or veiled shakedowns or dragging their father or mother, and I can't be clear on that enough, or their mother through the mud. And to anyone who tries it, I'm no longer going to pacify, capitulate, or sidestep because I love them a whole lot.
My wife left me, changed her mind. That is really good. That was a really good one.
More than I love you. And I will continue to do whatever is necessary to protect my children. Discussing the divorce any further on social media or on this show or in any public space is not what's best for them. I'll be handling this through the proper legal avenues and channels available as a matter of record in which I have more than full confidence. So I'd ask that you understand the need for and respect our privacy in what is obviously a pretty tough time. And I hope that none of this...
This is basically him trying to justify any slap suits he may throw out in order to try to silence people who make fun of him. So there's a non-zero chance he tries to sue me. I mean, it would be a failure of a lawsuit. I'd win. It'd be a slap suit. But, you know, he could try. Like, he would try to do a defamation suit, but I mean, this is America, so it wouldn't really work. Anyway, Steven Crowder's divorce really did make this age like milk, didn't it? Waiting till the wedding night, getting married the right way, and then a picture of Steven Crowder and his wife getting married. That's a good one. That's a good one from Right Wing Cope. And then, of course, the spicy meatball on top is the leaked Ring doorbell video. Wait. Uh-oh. Oh, shit. This video doesn't work. Heavy Griddle. You're proactive getting the video beforehand. Actually, no, it does. Never mind. Never mind. We got it. Sorry. Never mind. False alarm. I clicked, like, the play button a few times and it didn't work, but now all of a sudden it is. Okay. Anyway, this video ended up leaking, quote unquote. It basically came out because a lot of, like, evidence used in lawsuits and court proceedings will become public through that. And one of the things used as evidence in the lawsuit, or I guess, you know, divorcing is a lawsuit. You sue for divorce. One of the bits of evidence that has come forward is this security camera footage from Ring.com, like the Ring doorbell thing, but it's like a security camera, not a doorbell, because it's not by the front door, or by the doorbell. Kind of giving a look into the general life of Steven Crowder and his wife, or I should say ex-wife. Let's go ahead and take a look. Trigger warning, if you have been a victim of domestic violence or around that and seeing it happening to other people is, you know, upsetting to you, you may want to take a quick timeout. That's all the warning I'll give you.
I drew a boundary. I drew a boundary. No, you just did it. I drew a boundary.
Oh, by the way, for a little bit of framing here, we've got his pregnant wife, his, like, 8-month pregnant wife, by the looks of it, like, literally could go into labor any day now, as far as I can tell. and he's sitting here reclined back on his back porch smoking a cigar. Literally barefoot and pregnant. Literally barefoot and pregnant! Unironically. Remember when I said earlier in the stream, the average conservative household is a miniature model of what the right wants to accomplish for the entire country? This is how they want to run the whole country. This imagery of this guy reclined back smoking a cigar on his back porch while his pregnant barefoot wife is being barked at to do chores, as you'll see, is exactly what I'm talking about when I say that.
Abusive and cruel. You are not taking the car. Because if you refuse to do wifely things, then I will go pick up the groceries.
There's no groceries. I do have
Steaks. What hell?
The backstory to this is apparently that he wants her to clean up some chemicals that are, like, not good to be breathing when you're pregnant. And he's like, just put on some gloves. And she's like, please, can you do it so I go out and do the groceries? And he's like, no, I want to do the grocery shopping. You do the cleaning. And he's just reclined back doing that. And what he probably means by grocery shopping is probably get groceries delivered, because there's no way someone this wealthy with this much money isn't getting groceries delivered. So what he means is, I'm going to sit back and smoke my cigar, order groceries on my phone, while you go clean up toxic chemicals while you're 8 months pregnant. On your hands and knees, no doubt. And smoking a cigar right next to his 8-month pregnant wife. Very good, very good. Very, very, obviously we know conservatives are anti-science, so I imagine he doesn't believe that, like, women being around cigarette smoke is bad for the baby. Or if he does, he just doesn't care, because, you know, conservatives are fucking evil. Yeah, pro-life, by the way.
My grill. I know it's an unreasonable request, but I'll go do it. How about you first? Hillary, how do you respect the man? Yes. How do you man? How do you man? Receive love and respect.
He's literally trying to say the other wives are more wifely, is like the argument he's trying to make. Like, have you seen the other wives that we know? Do they act like the way you do? Do they talk back to their husbands? This is what conservative love looks like. Dude, I have seen so many lefty women who are, like, in relationships with or simp for conservative men and want, like, a traditional conservative man, and, like, they simp for, like, the traditional conservative relationship, but they're lefty. Like, obviously, Sean Head's the stereotypical example of this, but I don't even consider her a lefty. I'm not even talking about her. And every time I see an example of that, I just imagine something like this. This video is going to permanently play in my head every time I see, like, a lefty girl that I'm friends with who, like, dates, like, a moderately conservative guy, even. Because it's always going to be some shit like this. Like, their bizarre, like, trad wife sub-humiliation kink is literally going to drive them into a relationship with somebody who sees them as subhuman, will actually treat them like shit to the extent that they really want to get out of the relationship. It'll stop being a kinky fun game as soon as it starts to become your actual daily life in reality. Oh god, I could go on a rant about this, but I'm not gonna go any further. Literally, Shu. I'm literally not even talking about Shu. I don't want to name any names, but there are literally lefty women that are popular on Twitter that this applies to. Should I name one? Oh no, the person who exposed this to me told me not to. I shouldn't do it. I shouldn't. Fuck, okay. Let's just say Shuanhead is not the only popular lefty quote-unquote e-girl who is dating a full-on fascist. And even fetishizes the fact that they're dating a fascist. That's all I will say.
No. How do the man... No, you're not taking the car.
Steven,
You're not taking the car.
Steven,
You are not
then I
taking
will ask them to pick me up. Would you like me to ask?
Oh, that's right.
It's not about Steven.
Get an Uber.
Okay, Steven, I can't.
Feeling some constraints?
Steven.
Like, I can't
Steven.
go... listen to me. You want to walk out right now? Listen to me. I can't go to the gym. I can't go to my parents. I can't call my friends. I can't be home. You're going to take...
Because he needs to be there for his pregnant wife?
the car and leave me here. Hillary, just think of how boxed in you've made me.
What do you need?
Hillary, think of how boxed in you've made me by being 8 months pregnant. They think of women as human like fleshlights, to be pumped full of seed, and to produce viable male heirs. It's literally Game of Thrones shit. That's literally how right-wing men see women. The same way dudes in Game of Thrones see women.
You need to pick up. I'll get it. I'll be back when I'm back.
No, that doesn't work either. You'll be back when you're back. That doesn't work either.
See,
Do you understand the difference between my life being set to the second and you going, I'll be back when I'm back?
Stephen,
You're making it work. You do that. The only way out of this is discipline and respect. It's the only way out of it, or we're at an impasse.
Like I said, guys, if this doesn't sound this must sound very familiar to a lot of you, not necessarily because you've been in a domestic abuse situation, but because what Steven Crowder is saying here is not very dissimilar to what he says in his show. This is how he sees women's proper place. Literally barefoot and pregnant, being barked orders at while reclining on a, like, under the sunroof, smoking a cigar. Like, literally ghoulish.
we are gonna do it.
Yeah, the only way out of it. Yeah, he's giving ultimatums, yep.
Good. Because you can't have any discipline or respect.
Yeah.
Yeah. There you go. You throw your hand, you give up so easily.
I don't give up, Stephen.
Hillary,
Stephen?
you give up so
This is what they mean when they say discipline. When conservatives say that the left doesn't value discipline, they mean the left doesn't subject itself to living like this. Particularly lefty women. When they say lefty women are lacking in discipline, they mean lefty women are living their own lives and not subjecting themselves to this. Or at least most of them aren't. It makes me sick that I ever watched this guy. Like, it's been so many years, but I could go back in time and kick my own ass. Yeah. Yeah.
I just said the only way out of this is
I never really watched much Crowder when I was chuddy.
discipline and respect. You said, then we're at an impasse.
Stephen, no, we are at an impasse, okay? I love you, but Stephen, your abuse is sick. Your abuse
Watch it.
is sick.
He said, watch it. Now, I don't know if you guys have ever been smacked across the face by a family member before, but watch it is usually what is said before that happens, in my experience. So that's immediately what is invoked when he said that to me, is that he's saying watch it, as in if she keeps talking back, he's gonna get up and he's gonna smack her one, you know?
Watch it. Fucking watch it.
I'm gonna let go. I'll get what you need me to get. And I need some space. We need to just stop engaging for a little bit, okay? I love you. I love you very much.
I don't love you. That's the big problem. I've never received love from you, and the fact is, when
I want to remind you, what he said in the previous clip that we watched was that it is all his fault that he picked the wrong woman. His lesson out of this was that he picked a woman that wasn't subservient enough. He wishes he would have found a woman who is okay with this treatment. That's what he considers to be his fault. It's quite literally the equivalent of, not sorry you did it, sorry you got caught.
I go, look, I need you to do A, B, C, and D. You just be disciplined about it. You go, no. But I love you more than life itself. Okay. Put on some gloves. No. But I love you more than life itself. That's not fair. That's not fair, and it's disingenuous. Hillary, you're right. We're at an impasse. Become someone, listen to me, day in and day out, worthy of a wife. No, not as a wife. I didn't say as a wife.
As a wife.
Hillary, come on now.
I'm not gonna engage. I'm not gonna engage anymore. I'm gonna go. I'll text me what you need. I'll get you what you need. I love you. I'm committed to you.
Put on some gloves. Are you committed enough to do those things?
He's sitting up to, like, this is meant to, like, be like, all right, shit's getting serious.
I'm not gonna.
Are you committed enough to do those things?
He's gonna follow her because he doesn't want her to get the last word by disengaging, I bet.
You're not committed to anything. You're not committed to anything. You just said I love you. I'm committed to that. Walk the dogs. Put on some gloves.
I need to.
Walk the dogs. Put on some gloves. Are you committed enough to do those things?
I,
Are you committed enough to do those things? Are you committed enough to do those things?
I'm gonna just.
Walk the dogs. Put on some gloves. Are you committed enough to get the medication the dogs take? No, you take Betty.
As the Crowders head inside, this is from the court proceedings. This is like using information from the trial. As the Crowders head inside, Stephen gets angrier and angrier, and by his own admission, because he was under oath, screams, "I will fuck you up," at his pregnant wife Hillary, who then flees their home. I think y'all can imagine that this is not an unusual occurrence in their household. But remember, Stephen Crowder thinks that she is the bad guy for getting the divorce because it would tear apart their family. And divorce being legal is a horrific, horrific sin. You got a tweet from The Sucks here. The Sucks. That's going to be our nickname for the Surfs. The Sucks. And they posted some screenshots of some Candace Owens tweets. Because, of course, the Candace Owens versus Stephen Crowder culture war arc has begun. To remind people, the video Stephen used in his show of me was a video of me responding to Stephen's first set of bizarre attacks against the Daily Wire. Stephen is not the victim. He was never the victim. He's just a bad person who continues to burn a lot of people. If you are going to use your children as human shields to block people from digging further into your divorce, please do so without inserting me into the narrative, at Stephen Crowder. The Quartering comes out in defense of Stephen Crowder, though, saying, "It's absolutely disgusting that people on the right would use Stephen Crowder's divorce as leverage against him, to use it against him to embarrass him. Divorce happens. It doesn't even sound like it was his choice." Even the Quartering's on the, "It doesn't even sound like the divorce was his choice." What a horrible thing to happen to Stephen Crowder. Remember, guys, to the right, divorce is a thing that men are a victim of, that women victimize them with. You expect it from the left, but totally shameful from the right. Stephen Crowder accusing me of extortion is so patently insane, when it honestly makes me question how there are even still people who cannot see how thoroughly undone he has become. This is not stable behavior. He is a man on a spiral. Outright bizarre and concerning. God. Right-wing infighting. They're eating their own. Nothing could be better for us, chat. I'm telling you guys. These are the events, the stepping stone events we'll look back in history as what brought this era of right-wing dominance online down. We'll look back on this as a pivotal point in that history. I swear. Mark my words.